Good evening, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And looks good. Welcome to the live. Welcome back. Appreciate you guys coming early and being here for me. I appreciate that. As these chats get bigger, if you will, some more and more folks coming. I'm not real good at answering all the questions that come up in chat as it is, but I'll do my best and stuff. So if you guys could say something in the comment section so I know you're here. And if I miss a question, maybe ask it twice so that I can catch it on the scroll here. But yes, good evening. Good evening. Tonight we're going to cover a couple topics. I actually had like kind of a short list of things I wanted to go over in tonight's live stream, and I didn't want to really call, but I figured I can go over pretty much anything we want to go over, and I'll let the chat kind of dictate that. If you guys have a place you want to check out or a species you want to talk about, we can do that. But ultimately, I just called it community because as a community, we pull together and we have these discussions, and sometimes the discussions, that's the live stream. Like that's what's on our minds. That's what we're currently fishing for and going after. It's our target. And so that's just kind of how these go. So if you have anything like that on your mind, please say something in the chat. And if not, I have some ideas. We'll kind of keep this thing going. But yes, good evening to everybody. Robin, Joe, Doug, Rick. Hey, Nathan. Haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you in the chat for a while. It's good to see you here, man. Mr. Hagee, good evening to you, too. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Doing really good. It was warm today. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit in tonight's chat. Or in tonight's stream. Bayliner Bill, good evening to you as well. And Mark. Hello, everyone. Indeed. We'll just do it. We'll just give folks like a minute or two here, and then we'll dive into it. Yes, while we're warming up, there's a few things going on. Of course, we have Paddling and Bassin coming up. That's straight in front of us. Paddling and Bassin is an annual floating and bass fishing trip we do from the kayaks, and that's the dates right there, the 5th through the 7th. The idea, what this kayaking trip is the 5th is, June 5th is a Friday, and we meet at the ball field in Mapleton, and it's called Riverside Park, and they have a camping area there. It's free to camp. We all meet there Friday night. We hang out, and we camp out. You can car camp, you can have a van camp, you can camp in a tent, you can bring a sleeping bag and just lay it on the lawn, whatever you want to do, but the morning after, so this is Saturday morning, first light, we're going to go down and we're going to put our kayaks in the water and we're going to float. So we're going to jockey vehicles down to our next camp, but so we're going to have all your equipment. You don't have to pack your tent and stuff on the kayak, just your fishing stuff. So you're going to actually have your car at each pull out. Every time we stop, you'll have all your stuff. So we float all day Saturday, we do our fishing, and we get to Kistler, which is a little town opposite of Mount Union. So it's just right across the river there. But there's a ball field there, and we camp there at the ball field and kind of just rinse and repeat. So we hang out, and we camp. We usually run over to Sheets or go for a pizza or something like that, just for the evening meal. But through the day, you want to have snacks. And then on Sunday, we wake up, we do it again, and we float all the way down to Newton Hamilton, and that's our final takeout. So we jockey vehicles down, we float down to Newton Hamilton, we pull our kayaks. It's been a really good paddling and bassin float, and it's getting more and more popular every year. So if you want to be a part of that, I'm going to ask that if you would please do the registration. This is going to cover if we can get a pizza that night or something like that. And, well, it just helps us make it a little bit better, and it makes it worthwhile for my business to do it as well. So that's there. It is voluntary, though. You do not have to do it. It is a free event. The most important thing, like always, is that you show up and participate. Be part of the community. Show up for these events and start learning each other. I know most of you guys are already doing that. You're already learning who the other people are in the community, at least the active people are. And so it's been good, and we're growing. All right, right on. Well, Nathan, I'm glad you're here, man. Targeting striper without live bait. That's a great question. Live bait is really popular at the lake, so but you guys know that I am an artificials guy. So I'll tell you, you got to have quality plugs to be able to pull for them stripers. Plugs, umbrella rigs, and you can actually just do paddle tails or flukes. And I like to do a high-low, like a double fluke rig. It's pretty simple. Big fluke on the bottom, small fluke on top, but right on the same line. And you pull it, you got two baits kind of swimming together. It creates what you might call a feeding response. By having a small one up here and a big one back here chasing it, that looks like a big fish, say a big bait chasing a small bait or something like that. And that creates that feed response. So I like those tandem rigs. They're super easy to tie up. Most of us have that in the tackle box already. But use big hooks. And don't be afraid to go quick. That's probably a good tip. If you're pulling artificials, go quick. And then the more the merrier. Get 4 of your pals to sit on the boat so you can put out a spread so it just looks crazy. When you're coming through the water, there's all kinds of lures out there. 2 lures per line, 8 lines in the water. There you go. 16 lure presentations. You go through some striper, you want to see 1 or 2 or 3 of those rods go at once. You got to have the rods out and ready. So that's probably what I would say. I've started doing a series, and then I'll get into this. But I've started releasing a series. Some of you guys may have seen it. I'm calling it Fish Fillet Friday. So every Friday, I'm going to release a simple video. It's not supposed to be something... I thought about this a lot. I know there's a lot of fillet videos out there, and guys are like speed filleting. You know, how fast can you get through this fish? And I don't think any of us fillet fish like that. None of us are on the clock. What we're mostly interested in is getting a fish on the table and getting the fillet off the fish. And it's not a rushed thing. So the videos that I'm making here, they're really just showing you some different techniques maybe you haven't thought of. And if nothing else, it's just a knife going through a fish so that you can get more comfortable with doing that yourself. But the knife I'm using in all these videos is the Bubba knife, which most of you guys are really familiar with. It's just become kind of a standard for fillet knives. It's not going to be like a quality custom knife. So if you guys want something like that, reach out to a knife maker and get something primo. But the Bubba knife is just what we have now. That's what I have now. That's why I'm using it. So that'll come out every Friday. I did a bluegill, because you got to do a bluegill. The first one is the bluegill. And guys, leave the skin on these bluegills. Quit trying to take the skin off. So just scale it, leave the skin on. It's already a small piece of meat, so you're losing meat whenever you try to fillet it off of the skin. So I know you guys are leaving some skin on that, or some meat on that skin. So let's stop doing that. There's no reason to. So every Friday I release them. I think, this Friday coming up, I actually have a walleye that I got. So I got a fillet of a walleye coming for you this Friday. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's a no talking, no nothing. So it's just knife and fish on a fillet board. So just for that. Fish Fillet Friday, we're calling it. Guys, can I say do that? The hashtag. And you guys do a Fish Fillet Friday also. Maybe we'll start this. It'll become a trend. Fish Fillet Friday. Hashtag Fish Fillet Friday. After paddling and bassing, I'll be going up to Lake Erie. And the Lake Erie schedule is filling up, but I still have tons of dates that are still open. So I'm essentially going to be in Erie from the 10th through the rest of the month. So if you guys want to go to Lake Erie, just reach out. I have some kind of hit and miss days there. Some of them are scheduled, some of them are not. If you want to come up to Lake Erie and fish for walleye, that's the time to do it. It'll be 10th through the end of the month, but just let me know. And I put this up a little higher on my website. You can see it a little easier to find. The consultation trip, a lot of you guys have been doing that with me. I appreciate it. I'm actually surprised and happy to say that the consult trip has become like half of my business. I was really surprised by that. There's a lot of people that wanted the consult trip, and it's working out. appreciate you guys doing that. It's funny how the simplest things can be of the greatest demand, you know? Joe, you did not eat that carp, did you? Really? I said the carp tasted good. Okie dokie. So, community. I had a friend sent me a message today, and he was I already talked to him, so he's okay with me talking about this, I believe. So, let's see. Let me bring it up here. But anyways, he sent me a display. It's funny, I had this all set up and now it's not there. No. Window. How about this? No. It's like I'm brand new to streaming right now, I'm telling you. Like I've never done this before. So what it is, I use Streamlabs, and they did an update, and you know how that goes. Now I did an update, now I can't find anything. Oh yeah, nice, that's what I want. Son of a gun, where's it at? Give me a second, guys, bear with me. Let's try this. How disappointing. They did a simple update and they moved everything around. Now I can't find it. That's frustrating. And I'm not even new to this. You'd think I'd know how to do it. Good evening from Matt and Marcy. Good evening. It's good to see you, Matt. You're welcome, Nate. Happy to do them. Austin and family. Hey, bud. Hey, bud, back to you. It's good to see you. What I'm trying to share with you guys, just so you understand, is the gentleman had a fish picture he sent me, and I was just going to show you the picture of what he captured. And there's a story behind it. I just need to get, the image up so you can see it. I don't know why it doesn't just let me bring it. Let me see if this is it. It should just open in a separate file and let me open it up, but it's not going to. Let me work this out. This is important. Live streams. It's be like this. You guys are being kind, hanging out. I appreciate it. Specific, I don't understand why that wouldn't be it. Specific window that's open. Add source. Oh my gosh, I think I might have found it. But look at it, it's all goofy looking. What is this? Oh my gosh. Well, let me just kind of, it's going to be kind of goofy here, but this is just what it looks like. So it is what it is. Yeah, you're welcome, PA Mountain Militia. You are welcome. I'm happy to do it. So this is the, hold on a second. I want to make sure it's coming up for you guys right. Okay, it looks right. So today I got this photograph of a Laker. And if you look real close there, you can see in its mouth, you've got the jig that I make. So I got this picture today, and I get these from time to time, and I'm pretty excited. Thank you for sending them to me, first off. But what it's doing is it's proven that something's working that I'm putting out there. And that's a little bit, if you've never done this, you know, I put out a lot of these lures, and to see people sending me pictures, it's one thing I'll say, that whenever you come on my jigging trip, that I can stand there with you and I can show you how to actually engage the fish. And I'm watching the sonar a lot, so I can see what you're doing down there, and I can see how the fish are responding. And so I can coach you through it like in real time. That I can make happen, and that's why the jigging trips can be productive. But whenever folks go out on their own and they make it happen, like after they've jigged with me, they've gone out and applied it on their own, off their own boats, using their own techniques and their own abilities to do so. It's pretty exciting to come and find a picture waiting in my phone with this Laker right here. So I was really happy to see that today. Thank you for sending that. That's not the big story that I wanted to tell you guys about, though. Let me take a jump back here real quick. And this is the one. And then I'll work on my my settings for it later. But anyways, this Laker right here. So there's a whole story here I want to talk about just for a second, just so that you understand the significance of it. This just got caught today. So it's a brand new catch. This Laker is coming off the water recently. So here's what happened. This gentleman, he was out fishing and he's sending me some messages. Hey, I'm out fishing. He has my phone number, so of course he could do this. You should have my phone number. I'm going to bring it up on the screen in just a second. And he sends me a message, says where he's at, and says he's not catching. He's kind of struggling a little bit, and he wants to know why. So we're just through text, having like a conversation, probably less than 5 minutes. And he tells me what he's doing. And I said, yeah, that sounds way off. Make this adjustment. So he makes the adjustment, and I'm telling you, he goes, but basically what it was is I think he was just too deep. I know his rigs and what he's running is good, because as soon as he brought it up to the level, and I mean as soon as he brought it up, he ends up loading into this fish. So he's been struggling here out. Not struggling, I shouldn't say that. He'll put in the time, man. He's a fisherman. But he knew something was off, couldn't put his finger on it, so he sent me a quick message. We made this simple adjustment of depth. His depth was way off. So he changed his depth, and guys, as soon as he brought it up, boom, the rod fired off. And what you're seeing him holding here in this picture is his new personal best lake trout from Raystown Lake. So we're really happy for him. He picked this one up, and we're going to talk about community and how important that is. Whenever you reach out to somebody else who's fishing the same waters with you, it doesn't have to be me. It can be one another. As a matter of fact, a lot of you are on the water in different areas than me. Like right now, I am currently, I'm fishing up in Weaver Falls area right now. So that's just what I'm focusing my effort on, other than charters. But when I personally fish, guys, I was on the water. I was talking to Marcus. You guys know Marcus from the videos. But I was talking to Marcus today, and I said last week I was on the water 6 times. 6 different fishing trips last week. So I am getting on the water a lot. And most of that is with charters. But when I go for myself, I just kind of do what I want to do. So like you guys going to the lake just to fish and do what you want to do, I still do that. So right now, I'm in a section of the lake. I'm going after my objective the way I want to go after it, and it's not a charter. It's just me fishing. This is like you going to the lake in a completely different section of the lake, and I'm not over there, but I have kind of a general idea. You can send me a message, and it might work out for you that you'll be able to tweak something and be successful like this gentleman was. However, how good would it be if you had not just my number, not just me to reach out to, but each other? Let me share with you the mission statement of my fishing charter. It's 2 words. Everyone catches. Everyone means even the people who aren't on my charter. Even the people who don't talk to me. That's why YouTube, unknown people to me, I still focus on them. Everyone, without exception, catches. Does that mean you're always going to catch a fish? No. It does mean that every time that you get on the water, that you talk to me, that you book a charter with somebody other than me, the goal is still going to be to get you catching fish. I like to do that, focus on you catching fish independently, so you on your boat. Thus, the consultation trip was born. Everyone catches is the goal. Part of this is what we might call like legacy, right? So if I teach enough people to share what they know, it starts to grow and it builds up some momentum. So I'm encouraging you guys to not just be talking to me, but talk to one another too. Figure out where they're fishing, what they're focusing, and tell them where you're fishing and what you're focusing. Share the information so that we can grow together as a community. Yeah, and thanks, Briar's Lures. I should say something about Briar's Lures. So Michael's in the chat this evening. That's Michael Bennett. He's down there in the bottom. That's the gentleman in the picture. So tonight he was out, and he made this happen, and it took a simple tweak. And I don't know if, Michael, I don't think I talked to you since you caught this fish. Is this the one connection? Are you still on the water? We talked about you maybe staying out later too. Give us an update. Do you have a length you can tell us this fish was, or anything at all? It worked out really well tonight, and it was in real time, guys. I'm telling you, it was like a text message. I said, bring it shallower, and probably within 3 minutes, he sent me a response, and he said, I just caught one. So he literally brought the ball up right to them, and they just hit. It slammed. McKenna, I appreciate you saying that. You guys are putting in some serious work, though. I know a lot of you guys are texting me regularly and reaching out and asking questions, and I know that some of you are not. So let me go here for a second. Let me just get rid of this. Go back to the website. If you go to my website, what you're going to do is you're going to go to any of the pages on my website. You're just going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you're going to find this phone number right here. This phone in my hand is literally that phone number. So there you go. This phone right here, if you wanted to text me or call me, that's the number you would use right there. That's my business line. So if you don't have that number in your phone yet, save it now. And that way you have it. And I'll tell you why. It's more than just like helping you guys catch fish too. It's about, of course it is about that. Of course everyone catches, so I want you guys to catch fish. But it might be specifically about learning something on a technique. Or you're talking about like matching the hook size to the bait. Maybe you don't quite understand how heavy you should be running your weights whenever you're going out for striper, if you will. I think with McKenna and her boyfriend, when they were running, they were, I think we had the conversation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, about weight. And I recommended to them, run weightless. And I think that's important. This time of year, I think keeping your baits high in the water is really good to do for striper. And so they did that. So they hooked into one, and it broke off as soon as it got to the boat. So there's a lesson in that too. And I think, McKenna, we might have talked about it. When the fish gets close to the boat, or I should say close to the rod tip, what that does is the fish has a lot of leverage there. So a short line down to the fish, a lot of leverage. So every time he shakes, it's got 10 times as much force on it to be able to throw that hook than if it was out, 50 feet away from the rod tip. So when you bring it in close to the boat, you need to make that happen fast. So bring him into the boat and net him. Don't goof around. When he's near the boat, he's 10 times stronger than he was. So just keep that in mind. We lose a lot of fish at the boat. That's usually where you lose them. And this is why. They have more leverage the closer they get to the tip of the rod. Absolutely, Austin. Let's do it. Yeah, pick a date, shoot me a text, and we'll set it up. It's pretty low key. It's pretty simple. It's just me. Much of what I talk about on here is going to be what I talk about on the boat. So the consultation trip has become a lot of fun for me to do for a couple reasons. It kind of takes me out of my element too, which is really interesting. I'm seeing a side of me on you guys' boats that I don't really get to do when I'm on my boat. See, when I'm on my boat, it's like I have my systems and I'm like really rigid with some stuff for good reason. That's what works, and we catch fish. But when I get on your boat, it's like you have to be kind of free form, because I don't know what kind of rods and reels and electronics and your ability for boat control. All that stuff is a constant. It's a different dynamic. And so it's been good. So the conversation changes. And of course, you have focus on something you personally are interested in. And whenever you come on my boat, we just don't get to tap into that at all. So that's what's great about the consult trips. The other thing with the community, if we start reaching out, I did briefly mention this, locations. I know locations is one of those hot topic things. It's like people are kind of worried about it. I got to be honest, I don't think it's nearly as big a deal as what people make it out to be. And I don't think you're going to mind if I do this. I'm going to talk a little bit about basically where I told Mike to go fishing and maybe where he was fishing. It could or it could not be where he was fishing, but I'm going to tell you right now what I recommended to Mike, and I'm going to recommend it to you guys as well. He was trolling for Lakers, and I recommended to him, what is it I said, Mike, when I first said my first recommendation? I think because it's so easy to target and people understand it, I think I talked about the saddle. I told him to go down to the saddle and try there, and he said, well, he's going up to Snyder's, and that's kind of a long run for him to get all the way down to 7 points. And you guys know the lake well enough to know that, you know, if you put in up here at Snyder's to run all the way down here to the saddle, a little bit of a run, burning some gas. If you were going to fish this area, you'd probably just use the 7 point stock. It's right there. So he was up here. So I recommended to him to come out here to Moonbeam Island and just troll around out here in this bay area. So if I'm guessing, he was trolling, we'll say, somewhere between, well, I think this right here is S3, right? This point right here is S3. This is Moonbeam Island. Right here, this little point right here is that video I have, the bank angling video. And this is fishing Moonbeam Island. So that's where I was set up. I was set right up on this bank. But anyways, I told him to come out here in front of Moonbeam and just troll around. So right where my cursor is where I'm estimating Mike was whenever he was fishing too deep. And he made the adjustment and immediately caught. So if I told him this is where you should go to fish, I would tell you guys the same thing. Let me just really beat this in because I need people to really get this. Something I think that is, because we live in a deceptive world, if you will, I'm certain that people get a little cynical. It's like when you see someone catch and you're like, hey man, what'd you catch that on? And they say, Hershey Kisses. Where did you catch that fish? In the water. All the sarcasm and all that cynicism that goes with it. I don't participate in that. That's not my game. I don't do that. If I know something, I'm going to share that with you. And if I don't know it, I'm not going to pretend I do. And there's a lot that I don't know, guys. So you all heard me say, you've asked me a question. I get to the end of my knowledge and I say, I just don't know. Point being, ask. I think you'll be a little further ahead if you ask. You'll be even further ahead if you take what I told you and apply it. As long as it's good information. Some information's timely, you know. But in this case, it worked out, and it would have not worked out if we didn't have a sense of community. Mike has come out and done a couple charters with me, so we've talked face to face, we've met, and we have a lot of text message exchanges, so we already have that developed. I think at any given time, I have like 5 conversations going on my phone. I enjoy it. I'm plugged in, and this is my way to be socially responsible. So, long story short, if you have a question, shoot me a text. I'll tell you what I know. I'm not going to tell you what I don't know. All right, very good. So you guys can read Mike's comment there about my map interpretation. Okay, so Wasboats was at the saddle at 8 a.m. Didn't mark anything. Let me just go to the saddle real quick. I want to tell you guys why I told Mike to go there. So here's the saddle. And by now, I've done a lot of videos here at the saddle. So most of you guys know where it's at. I love how it says Pennsylvania Fish Commission launch. Like it's right there, you know, over 112 feet of water. But this is the saddle right here. And what I don't think I had still on my phone. I haven't uploaded it, but I had a charter this week. And what I did is I started by coming out here, and we came out just past the point here, and I went back into this area. Essentially back by Marty's here, and we started trolling around, and if I remember right, we picked one up. We picked one up back in here. I changed up my rigs a little bit. Spoons were still bringing in the most Lakers, but what was interesting, I don't have my lures in the house here, But Briar's Lures does all my lures. Briar's Lures, I'm plugging him now. I wish he was here. I'm going to stop in and see him tomorrow, but I wish he was in the chat so I could plug him better. But if somebody has a link for Briar's Lures, drop it in the comment for him. But he painted up, the body is a reef runner. So it's like a 6-inch or 7-inch reef runner. And if you guys know what that body type looks like. But the paint job on it is what he calls black-nosed dace. And these are all hand-painted, high-performance lures. And all I did is I ran 2 of those out the back of my boat, 200 feet back. I throw them out there just so they're out there pulling. I'll catch everything on it, from walleye to Lakers to striper. They'll hit kind of anything in some circumstances. So I just put them out there, and I forget about them the whole trip. But when they fire off, it's usually a good fish. And then other than that, I'm running some spoons, some crawler harnesses, and maybe some other things too. But on this trip, we were out there and we're running through, like I said, we came out right behind Marty's here. And I believe we caught one back here on a spoon. But ultimately, I was out here early enough and I was checking this out. I didn't mark too much around the saddle, but I'm not too surprised. It's difficult to mark them. The way they use this saddle is they move up and over it very quickly. So they don't usually linger right on top. They usually linger down on the sides, like in, I mean, you see how deep it gets really fast. So it's difficult to mark them when they get right up against the side. Your electronics don't pick up on them as cleanly, so it's easy to miss them. But they're constantly up and over top this saddle, right? But the night before, I heard a bunch of activity that was kind of right over here. I think that's pretty common. This seems to be the most active area of the saddle when it's active. Give or take, I think the whole saddle's good. But what I did with our gentleman that I was out there, I started trolling this saddle. So what I would do is I would come over, troll down the saddle, troll out a big loop, and then I would come back and troll the saddle, come out and do a big loop, and I would just keep duplicating this. I even came out this way and I trolled these trees. If you guys know, there's some trees over here. And then I came back across the saddle. This is what I'm going to tell you. Is that black-nosed dace with the reef runner body and a black-nosed dace paint job from Briar's Lures. It picked up 3 Lakers. 3 Lakers on this trip. And all 3 of them were hogs. They were hogs. I have, I don't have the picture on my computer, but I'll do my best to show you on my phone through the camera. But, I mean, needless to say, the clients are pretty happy with that. But what I'm saying is, even though it's not spoons, don't be afraid to put some stuff out and be creative. And then, of course, after we caught those, I felt inclined to tell Mike that that's a good place to go. So here we go. I got a picture here, and it's even, you can even see the tip of, I'm going to see if I can get that. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can see that pretty good. I'm going to try and get rid of the, all right, so I have a light here at the computer to make sure you guys can see me. But in the background there, you can see the 7 points saddle. So kind of like behind the camera, like back here, and over on this side, so back here, this back here, I'm trying to make it look right for the camera. That's Marty's. And then what you see right here is the actual point on the eastern shore of the 7-point saddle. And that's Steve. It's a good time to get something to drink, right? Drink water. I've started going to the spring and getting these jugs filled up. Nothing like some good spring water. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, but anyways. All right, I think we're good. I think the stream's back in. But the point is that we ended up picking up with plugs, and I wasn't expecting that. But it did show me that the saddle is hot, so it is happening. And I can't say that I marked a whole lot with my electronics, but you don't have to mark them to catch them. If you guys start striper fishing, you learn that really quick. You don't have to mark them to catch them. But I started getting spring water. I'm trying to stay healthy, guys. Just want clean water to drink. Shouldn't be that hard to do. All right, so my streaming program keeps giving me troubles. I'm gonna turn off the map here just for a minute and see if I can get the computer to kind of wake up a little bit for me. Do you have any questions so far about what I've been covering? If you guys have anything you want to direct or mile marker, we could look at it. I just might have to close one of the windows down on my computer so that it can function a little better. Mile marker 1 to 3 was hot. So for Lakers, right on. Well, I think, earlier in the week, I ran, I think that was this week. Yeah, we ran down right to the dam, and we were trolling. There's a section of trees. I'll tell you what the Lakers seem to be doing. They seem to be trending toward the trees, and they're like, if you can find a forest down there, just troll above it. And that seems to be the ticket to be able to make it work. And there's a lot of trees at Raystown, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding the forest down there. And if you do find the forest when you're not ready for it, of course, you're going to lose some gear. So be careful with that. I think you can probably run your baits. That plug that I was pulling, it was just a long line, maybe 15 feet deep, and it picked up 3 big old Lakers. So you can run shallow and not have to be compromising how many fish you catch. Is what I'm saying. You'll still succeed. But if you can go down, say 15 foot down to 30 foot and run a spread above the trees, just stay out of the treetops. But if you can run that spread, I think you'll be really happy with your results. But I think that's what they're doing right now. I think they're kind of holding to the trees. What my streaming program is doing right now is it's not giving me any control over everything, so it's just kind of a blank screen. So I see what you guys see, and that's it. So I'm just waiting for my computer to kind of come back around so I can adjust some things. But it's okay if it doesn't. I'll just sit here and talk like this. It just looks a little funny. I could always close it, but then the stream will kick, so I don't want to do all that. So if you're thinking about the technique, shoot me a text message or I'll call, and I'll talk you through it. If you're not quite making it happen, like say you're jigging for Lakers and you know a guy, so reach out. Locations. We're sharing real locations. We're not fibbing about them, guys. It actually works, and proof's in the pudding. Real time, today, it played out exactly the way it will play out for you as well. And it's going to be better if you're talking to more people than just me. We start talking to each other. We're going to grow this community, and we're going to become better fishermen for it. And hopefully the only thing we really need to worry about moving forward is going to be our conservation. That's going to be us deciding that we're going to conserve and that we're going to feed back into this system here at the lake. So join the Striped Bass Association, get involved with the stocking, go to the meetings. And I know the Fish and Boat Commission, it always seems like we're at odds with them. I got to tell you, though, they are actually partners. We are working with them. As a community, we are working with them. Now, they have more responsibilities because it's statewide. It's not just Raystown Lake. But make no mistake, Raystown Lake is one of the major premier lakes of Pennsylvania. I think it's the best. I think we all think it's the best. And the other thing is, if you guys are out on the water and you don't have someone's phone number to call, let's say you just have a malfunction, your battery dies, your engine might malfunction in some way, bad plugs or something simple. It could be a simple thing, but if you don't have someone to reach out to, and all you got is your cell phone and a phone number in that says Randall Rydes Fishing Charter on it, call it up. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to come help you personally, but I usually have a pretty good idea of kind of who's on the water, and I'll do my best to try and get somebody in contact with you. Just heard some thunder out there. Might get some rain tonight. Kind of liking that. After a hot day, it's kind of nice. And thirdly, or finally, I want to say this. It is, I think I can actually bring this up then. Thirdly and finally, I want to make sure this comes up correctly. Yeah, it did. I think so. Is this. It's the events. I know not everybody's a kayaker, but you should be. It's going to be a lot of fun. You should come out to Paddling and Bass, and you should be a part of these events that I'm putting on. I'm putting on 4 events every year. We have the beginning of the season. That's going to be your Raystown Rendezvous. It's going to be at the Lions Club. And we're also at the end of the year going to have Fishin' and Chillin'. Those are the bookends to the year. So it's a simple weekend event. It's right here in Entrecan. And again, there's no cost to it. There's a voluntary registration if you want to help out. The 2 events through the year, the one is the bank angling event, which you just passed, down at Weaver Falls. We had a good time, got a little rainy, but we still had a beautiful afternoon. But that's the bank angling event. I'm going to keep that moving forward each year. And the second event is to get your kayak out and come float the Juniata with us at Paddling and Bassin'. It's right here in front of you, June 5th through the 7th. This is, I should point out, this is a very simple float. Very simple float. It means that it is basic float. So you do not have to have experience on the water. It's good if you do, of course. But if you have no experience, this is as low intensity of float. You can bring out kids. You can float one day and then go back home. You can come out and camp and float, and then camp again and float again and do the whole trip. Or you can just camp. You just want to stop out at camp and see us and talk to the YouTubers and then head off for the evening. That's good too. So you can take this event however you want, but hopefully you guys can be a part of it. But being in the events and being part of the community is going to help a lot. You guys get a chance to meet each other and maybe learn some new techniques. And if nothing else, I'll shake your hand. The trees take dipsies. They take all the gear. There's no way around it. Those trees aren't going anywhere. Why do the trees stay forever? It's because they are preserved by the water. You guys know, wasn't there a show? The guy was, or the show was, they would go and they would retrieve those old timber and stuff from the old log floats that get down in the Mississippi or something. If you can get out there and drudge up these old logs, I guess the wood was worth something. Same idea. The water preserves it. You can't comment. I got a gentleman who just texted me. He said he can't comment on the live stream. Do me a favor, and you guys, just somebody say some comments in there. Just say random comment. Just type in random comment into the comment section. I want to see that comments are coming through so I can tell them they are working for you guys. I had a little glitch here with my streaming program, so maybe it's not working. Maybe it's shut down. Maybe it's on my end, Bill. I'm not sure. But I'm going to let them punch it up here. Looks like I see some texts coming through. I see Austin and Fam says it's working. Anybody else? It's possible, Bill, that you're not signed in. Yeah, it seems like it's coming through for them. It's possible you're just not signed in. Check that for me, if you would. Shoot me a text if you. Hey, if you got something you want to say, Bill, say it in the text message. I'll premiere it here on the video. So, yeah, it looks like it's working fine. I'll tell you this about the saddle, and probably the reason I like to share it with people is it's easy to find. Most people can find the saddle there at 7 points, but I know that it's a fairly decent spot. So it's a lot of times, guys, I gotta be honest, it's just barren. There's not much going on it at all. And unfortunately, that's how it is. I'd even say most of the year, there's not too much going on. That being said, it's always worth checking. And if nothing else, this gets you out there and it gets you a place to start looking. So if you get out there and there's fish on it, great. Pull out one and just bounce it right on the top of that saddle. Bounce it for, 15, 20 minutes and then move over about, 50 feet or 100 feet on the saddle and bounce it again for 15 or 20 minutes and then move right back to where you came from and bounce it for 15 or 20 minutes and see if you can pull up some Lakers on. There might be some stuff. If you're seeing some movement down there on your sonar, that might be all it takes. If you do that, you don't have a fish in the boat yet, I would say just move on and go somewhere else. The saddle is good to kind of get you warmed up. So I like to recommend people go there, and when it's hot, you can catch a couple. But like Mike, he was saying he's up here at Snyder's, it might just be better for you to hold to your territory too. And guys, this lake is huge, so there's options. You got 100 different ways you can fish this no wake zone back here by Snyder's. So here's Snyder's right here. You guys can put in, and how many of you guys have been trolling out here and you see fish right away? It's because there's fish right away. They're down there. You could not leave this cove and you could have a full day of fishing just looking for the fish that you're marking in right here. Now, if you're looking for striper, I would tell you this was one of my patterns I used to do when I was on the John boat. I would put my baits out. I put all 3 of my rods out, and I wasn't line stacking then, so I was just running a single crankbait, a single bait, and then a single, I was using soft body, one of those live target trouts. And then I had a jerk bait, and then I think I was trying to run a live bait, but it never seemed to work. So I probably had another lure on it. But what I'm saying is I used to just troll this horseshoe pattern right here like this, and I would pick up fish pretty good. So this was not a bad technique, and I never left the no wake zone. Just trolling back and forth. My first ever striper, I think I've shared this story with you guys, was during this pattern that I'm running. My first ever striper, I picked him up right about here, right at dusk. I trolled all the way through the night on this horseshoe pattern, and my second ever striper I caught right here, right in this area, first thing in the morning. Last light, first light. That was my exposure to a striper and how they get active right at that crescent period. So that's not quite the right word, but right at dusk and right at dawn. But you can fish it 100 different ways. 100 different ways anywhere you go. So Rick Glunt asked a good question. I want you guys to really hone in on this question he just asked. He said that he was jigging for Lakers, but he was relatively shallow, about 37 foot. Says that too shallow. Should he be in deeper water for him? The ideal range right now, you can determine. So if you need to determine the range that you want to jig, so you're talking about jigging on the bottom for them, I'm still going to tell you to go to the trees first. The Lakers who are hanging in the trees near where you're jigging at, they'll tell you exactly the level that you should be looking at. So if you go over the trees and you're marking the Lakers in 30 to 40 feet in the treetops, they're all holding in that 30 to 40 foot band, you're always going to have one up on the top of the tree. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones that are down inside of the tree. If they're holding 30 to 40 feet, when you go up on a flat, you want to look in 30 to 40 feet. As long as you're in the same area, that's a great indicator that that's the depth they're going to be holding on the flats as well. It has nothing to do with structure as it does about two other major ingredients, and that's the water temperature at 30 to 40 feet and the water oxygen content at 30 to 40 feet. That's the equilibrium. They have to breathe. And then secondly, they want to be comfortable, and that's the temperature. So that's why there's a band. That's why they're in that range. They'll come up to the top in the shallow, like you were saying, for suspended. They'll come up there whenever they're feeding, but they're not staying up there. There's an old rule called the 90-10 rule. 90% of the fish's life, he's inactive. That 10% of the day that he is active is when they're up there suspended. They're feeding fish. But the 90% of the day, they're going to be kind of in a reserved state. So they're going to be in the treetops, or they're going to be down on the flats, just kind of relaxing, low energy life as much as possible. Good question, though. I appreciate you asking that. It's going to be really similar with all the species, too. You guys know that I've been on a crappie kick lately. So with the crappie, it's really similar to that. You can go find the trees that are submerged, and you can find the range that they're sitting in. And then when you go into the banks and you're finding trees that are just downed, like just, like off the side of a steep slope, a lot of tree branches and stuff just kind of work their ways down into the water there. If you can find them at the same depth that you saw the crappie holding at nearby in the area, in the treetops that are submerged, it's going to be really similar in the tree debris along the banks as well. Similar depths. So similar species depths, so the species are going to kind of hold in a band. But it's a great indicator, a great way to narrow it down. As I always say, making a big lake small. So let's go to shy beaver. I brought up crappie, and for some reason I just thought of shy beaver. I know my buddy Phil, he might not like it too much, but there's a lot of people at Phil doesn't mind. Phil came out with me the other night. We were scouting an area that I think of for walleye, and no, we didn't connect with any walleye, but we put out some good lines, some good set, and I'm sure that they're there. We just didn't connect with them. But while we were there, we were jigging all night long. We were just catching perch left and right. So we went home with a bucket full of perch. Yellow perch, white perch, caught a bass by accident, a couple bluegill. But we had a lot of catches that night. It just wasn't walleye. But we're talking about crappie. And Phil, he actually has a video. You guys can go check out his channel. He's not here tonight in chat, but it is Raystown River Adventures. And if somebody has a video they want to link there, or Phil, if you show up later, just put it there in the comments so people can follow. But there's a tree right here across from the ramp here at Shy Beaver. Everybody fishes this. Everybody fishes it because it sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's right here at the dock. So people put in and they go straight over. It's like a magnet. It just draws people in. You guys know the tree I'm talking about. But it's just right across from it. Phil goes out there, and you got to understand, Phil is a wonderful crappie and perch fisherman. He puts a lot of panfish into his freezer. He's really good at it. And so he went straight over to that tree, and he starts pulling these fish out of it, and he's got a video on it. So you guys should watch it. Super shallow fish. But what I would say is that's not the ideal area to look for crappie. One, it's got a lot of heavy use. There's a lot of people targeting it. But I actually think that if you were to go near where my cursor is, along this steep edge here, and maybe over here, but I think this edge is better because it's more shaded. This steep edge over here is going to have, because it's steep, there's a lot of timber that kind of falls off the side of the mountain, and it kind of falls down along this edge here. My John boat video, you guys may have seen. I was tied up right out here doing some fishing. But I didn't stay long, but that it's in that video. But that's that section I was thinking of for crappie. And that's shallow water crappie, so that's less than 20 feet. And you just got to find that timber. The same thing's true along this edge here. You find some timber that's just kind of down because it's a really steep drop-off. You're going to get a lot of tree limbs and stuff falling down. Woody debris. And the crappie will find that. They'll hold on to it, especially if it's a whole tree down there. But any of these steep drop-offs, this edge over here, heavy pinch point, quick drop-offs, but steep on one side. This isn't real steep over here or anything, but there's a steep drop-off. This is more of a walleye-looking spot because you got the flats and then a steep drop-off access to the main channel. I'd like to see a stair step down and not just a gradual slope, like an even slope. You like to see ledges as it comes off. And I'm just looking at the topography here. This little bay area back here might be good. I know the bass guys like to hit this area up. If I was looking here for crappie, I don't think I would. I think I would come over on this side. This looks better. So we got a steep mountain on this side and a lot of debris, a lot of woody debris is going to fall down in here. And on top of that, you can see it kind of gets deep right through here. And I know this area. You guys might know it. This is really rocky along the edge right here. But I like that those tight topos right there. That just shows you it's essentially a ledge. Just comes right off the dirt, straight down to 36 feet. So this is a steep drop. These are just rock outcroppings here. And then it gets a little deep down here. I would think that this edge right here would be really good. If you can find a tree that's downed or even a submerged timber, that would almost guarantee be holding some crappie. I was talking with a gentleman. He came over to talk about community. The gentleman, he shot me a text, says that he's up here camping and stuff. I was like, hey, if you're around, come on down to the camp. He said, I am around. So he came down to camp. We sat here at the kitchen table for an hour or so, just like talking fishing. I had to map out. We talked personal stuff too, but we talked fishing mostly. And one of the things we talked about was the outside turn on the current and why it works so well. So here, this water flow is coming from left to right, and it just smashes up against the bank here and then turns. Well, if I was a fish sitting right here, it's almost like, did you guys remember The Simpsons, right? When Homer Simpson goes to hell, Satan puts him on a conveyor belt feeding him donuts. And he's got the machine opening his mouth and he's just feeding him donuts. Because, Homer likes donuts, so, Satan's going to make it the worst experience of his life by just feeding him all these donuts. And all that happens is Homer's there being force-fed these donuts, and he's like, donuts, more donuts, yum, moo, and he's just getting fat. And, of course, Satan's like, I don't know what to do with this guy. I think he sends him back to Earth. That's not how it happens in real life. But the point is, if I was a fish sitting right here on this tight turn, that current is bringing all that food right to my face. It is quite literally throwing the food into its face. Wouldn't you hang out there if you were a fish? Easy Eats. This is like Uber Eats delivering food to your front stoop. It's a pretty good way to go. So this little section right here on the outside, right on that bend, whenever the current comes in, just think of them throwing all that good stuff right against that outside bend. If you can find a tree in there, guaranteed you can have some fish in your cooler. And it's a lot of fun, guys. If you haven't got into the crappie fishing game yet, it's a lot of fun. Let me get caught up on comments here, and then my streaming program here is just being rude to me. I'm not sure why. I'm going to try and click on it a few times, see if I can get it to do something. It's just a blank screen. So before I try to fix it and crash the whole live stream, I just want to we'll just sit here and talk like this. I don't think you guys care anyway. This is good, right? Rick says he was at 7 Point Sunday, and your lures look great on live scope. Yeah, they do. It's one of the great things, not just live scope, but any sonar program with that vertical jigging lure. It's an ounce and a quarter, and boy, does it show up like a beacon. So you can really track its movement. Yeah. 10 or more times, yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. Some Lakers will take, some Lakers just won't. Great, Rick. I'm looking forward to it, man. I should point out with Lake Erie, I have dates open between the 10th and the 20th. Ideally, between the 10th and the 20th. That being said, if I book those up, I'm going to continue to book out until the end of the month. If I end up coming back early, that means if I only stay up there till the 20th, that's fine. But I would like to book beyond the 20th. So if you guys are thinking about Lake Erie, you can put a comment into the comment section here, and I'll save the day for you. But we'll have to connect to make sure it all works for sure. But if you're thinking about Lake Erie, guys, I want you to understand, I have zero marketing up at Lake Erie. My Lake Erie trips, the people who go on them, they're all coming from Raystown Lake. This is our community. This is you guys driving up to Lake Erie and making this your annual trip to Lake Erie to go for walleye. This is a great charter. It's familiar because it's just you and me. You know, I'm not a new guy. You don't have to reach out to strangers to go charter up there. And the drive from Raystown Lake is right around 4.5 hours, depending on how heavy you are on the throttle. But just figure a 5-hour drive, so you can drive up and go fishing that same day. When you come up, you're welcome to stay at my camp. I'll have my wall tent, and it's big enough for, I'll say, 4 people to sleep in very comfortably. You can bring a cot if you want. But the facility there, the camp area, it's Camp Sherwin. You guys can check that out if you want. And you just stay. There's no cost to that. You guys are just, you're my guest. You're just additional people at my site. So there's no extra cost to you for that. But if you guys want to do that, shoot me a text, and I'll bring up my phone number one more time for you. I think I'm going to get rid of that map. I think that map just crashed my computer out. It just ran out of processing ability. But there's my phone number. If you guys want to go to Lake Erie, shoot me a text right now, and we'll start to set those dates up. You don't have to have it paid for, and you don't have to have the date solid until we start talking in text. But if you're like, hey, I want to come, and now we're going to start talking. Okay, so it's no problem. Shoot me a text, and we'll start the conversation. I appreciate you guys who have booked for Lake Erie. I think you'll be pretty happy that you went up. Just as a testimony, I've been trying to get a lot of folks to do the reviews on Facebook. If you've chartered with me, I'd appreciate if you do a review on Facebook. But last year, my Lake Erie trips are at 100% success. That means every charter and every client limited out. So everybody that went on a trip with me up at Lake Erie, they limited out on walleye on their charter. So if I had 4 people on the boat, we got all 4 of their limits filled. I can't do any better than that. It was a banner year. Every year that I do after that's going to compare to it. And hopefully this year we just do it again. So if you guys want to come up to Lake Erie and fish it finally, I know a lot of you have been putting that off for a long time. Don't put it off anymore. I'm your guy. All right, very good, Rick. Yeah, I have them sitting here in the kitchen for you. Those 2 black lures. Yeah, I bet you Sayers is going to be popping tomorrow. With this little warm-up we had, it'll be doing really good. I find that it's best to target the east shore. So if you were to put in at the Bald Eagle launch and stay on the east shore, early season, I'll say if this is early season, I would say that this is, let's jump on the map and look at Sayers. We don't get to do that very often. So you guys might not know where Sayers is. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. There's Raystown Lake, of course. And then right up here, there's this little body of water. And it's essentially up here by State College, if you will. More specifically, by Bellefonte. But this is Foster Sayers right here. So when I fish Foster Sayers, there's this Walnut Street bridge that goes across the center. I go down here to the Bald Eagle launch. This is the one that I usually use. And by the East Shore, what I'm actually recommending is, a lot of people know the cut. I'm not saying to go to the cut. As a matter of fact, I don't even think the cut's on here. Look at this map. Why is it like this? There's actually a whole body of water over here. You can see some markings for it, but the cut is not there. The cut's supposed to be right here. The Eastern Shore is this edge that I was talking about, this edge over here. This is where I usually do the best early season. If you guys check that out, if you don't know what else you're doing at Foster Sayers, that's something to start on. This Eastern Shore right here. But if you're going to Foster Sayers, you probably already have a plan. That's just something for me to share with you. Nice. The gentleman who can't put messages into the chat there sent me this simple little comment. I'll try to bring this up here so I can see it too. There it is. It says, my wife... Oh, I'm not helping, am I? I'm trying to get it right. Where's it at? So my wife said the walleye I caught was the best fish she ever had. She does pecan crusted great charter. That sounds good. Good, Bill. I'm glad. Lake Erie delivers and delivers and delivers. Just a really fun lake to get up to. If you fish Raystown enough times, you get humbled, right? Raystown is one of those lakes where you have to work very hard to find success. And a lot of times that's just, we kind of get used to that. That becomes our norm. When we go fishing, we know we're going to have to get the grit out. It's different at Lake Erie. It's not about getting the grit out. It's about enjoying the fishing trip. It's like it's the extreme other side of that spectrum, where you work really hard for small rewards. Whereas you go to Lake Erie, you work very small for big rewards. It's just like a whole different world, a different kind of fishing, a different experience. So it's really special. If you guys can make it up to Lake Erie, I'd be happy to be your guide. Raystown River Adventures, that is Phil. We were just talking about you, buddy. I was talking about crappie fishing and perch fishing a little bit. I was telling them about, I'm going to get back down here to Raystown. I was telling them about fishing down at Shy Beaver. And I mentioned I lost it. I mentioned the tree that you have in your video where you were catching the perch and stuff, being right across the dock from the dock, right over in this area. Yeah. You can flip back to watch it though, but Phil says he was out catching fish. He couldn't be here. We don't blame you. We don't blame you at all. Yep. See, Phil says it's a gold mine, so everybody go fish that tree. Phil, I think you could pull the fish out of the air if you needed to. But Phil was out with me the other night. We were just goofing off, just two pals, and looking at a new area for walleye, and we ended up jigging up a whole bunch of perches. It was a good night. Man, I slept like a log when I got back. I had been up for a lot of hours, and of course we were out on the water all night, so yeah, take turns. Line up in front of that tree and just take turns. Guys, I'm going to hang out for just like 5 more minutes. We're already a little bit long, but my streaming program's kind of crashing out on me, so I got this weird view that I'm working with, and I think I've covered just about everything I need to. Look, The point of tonight's stream was to make the point that we are a community, and it's a pretty small community. The more I get on this body of the water, the more familiar boats I see, and that's you guys. It's the same boats over and over again. It's the same couple people having the conversations. That's you and me just talking about this lake and making it a good fishery. And that's going to take us communicating so that we can turn that into conservation moving forward. So get involved with the Pennsylvania Striped Bass Association, make it to their meetings, and start treating the Fish and Boat Commission as part of the community, partners in the future of conservation of this fishery that we all love. That's true community. Yes, Adam, right now, night fishing is on. Memorial Day through Labor Day. Night fishing is for, nighttime is for the anglers. And daytime is for the yuppies, and nighttime is for the anglers. I might point this out too, just to keep it in mind, guys. Striper release season is over. If you catch a striper moving forward, the temperatures in the water are too high. If you catch a striper and release it, you just released a dead fish. So we are officially in striper harvest season. I want you guys to think twice before you release your next striper. You know what? Let me go this far. If you catch 2 striper and release 2 striper, stop fishing, because you just removed 2 fish from the fishery. That was your limit. All right, guys, I'm just going to hang out for a minute. Make sure everybody has a chance to say hi in the chat. Do me a favor, leave a like on your way out. Say a comment, even if it's just have a good night. Anything like that you can do to help the algorithm really helps the channel. I appreciate it. Fish Fillet Friday videos are going to come up every Friday. We're going to continue to do the live streams every Monday. And I do have to run over to the lake and do a dock update for you, too, where I'm going to talk about striper harvest season has started. But thank you. Leave the like on your way out. And, I'll see you on the water when I see you. When you're filleting your next bluegill, make sure you leave the skin on. Gotta leave the skin on. Same thing with your yellow perch. Yellow perch with skin on is perfect. Yellow perch and bluegill, those are classic skin-on fillets. It's a good one to do. I believe that it saves meat. It holds the meat together better when it's cooking. They crisp up nicer. There's a lot of reason to keep the skin on. You're welcome, McKenna. Good luck. You guys are going to do great. All right, I guess I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for the night, guys. Appreciate you stopping in. Live streams every Monday night. And reach out to me for Lake Erie. And do your best to try and make it out to the kayaking, paddling, and bassing event, June 5th through the 7th. If you have any questions, just shoot me a text. Guys, put my phone number in your phone so it's ready to go whenever you need it to. And that's it. I'm going to say goodnight with that. Much love. Much respect. Good night.